The Monday, July 14th, 2025 meeting of the Marquette City Commission is now called to order at 6 p.m. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk, may I have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Davis.
Present.
Commissioner Gottlieb. Commissioner Larson.
Here.
Commissioner Mayer.
Here.
Commissioner Ottaway.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Schlegel.
Here.
And Mayor Hanley.
Here. Commissioners, do I have a motion to excuse Commissioner Gottlieb? Commissioner Ottaway?
I move to excuse Commissioner Gottlieb
Did you say for personal reasons?
for personal reasons.
Do I have a second? Commissioner Davis?
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say yes.
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 All opposed, please say no. Motion passes 6-0. We have an agenda in front of us. Do I have a motion on that agenda? Commissioner Ottaway?
I move to amend the agenda by adding the proclamation recognizing the NASA Cal Morris Inc. partnership and honoring astronaut Sunita Williams to item 2H under the consent agenda.
Do I have a second? Commissioner Larson?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, please say no. Motion passes 6-0. I have no announcements tonight, so this brings us to our first public comment of the evening. Public comments may not exceed 3 minutes per person. Please state your name and physical address when speaking. Do we have anyone for public comment this evening?
Matt Lutenberger, 1406 Garfield Ave, City of Marquette. It's always weird being the last one in the room and the first one to come up and speak, so I'm going to try to keep it short. You guys have budgets coming up, budget discussions, and every year I keep saying the same thing about Lakeview Arena. Every year we keep hearing the same thing about Lakeview Arena. I'm hoping you guys can change some of that up this year. I was inspired by the reaction you guys got at the end of last year's season and the request from a local group to buy it from you. The whole room was full. People want to go skating. To be fair, my job is based out of Lakeview Arena. So I see and I talk to tourists, I talk to customers, I talk to local residents. There's one constant behind all of it. People come to Marquette not only for the summertime and the beautiful stuff in the summertime. They come here because we're a hockey town. We have Hockeyville, we have those things. And I'm not going to push hockey so much, but free skating when hockey is not in season will get us more tourist dollars than the 13 teams that come in during the high school program, right? So every high school hockey game you hear of, there's a team with 25 people on it that are coming into town for the first time or the 15th time. They also want to come back in the summertime for vacations. They want to come up here right now for Art Week. They want to spend their time doing the 906 and the Ore to Shore. They also want to spend time skating. They want to see our rink. They want the parents, the grandparents, the grandkids can all skate together at a certain time. I say this with passion because you're the only people who could fund it. Last year, we heard you guys wanted to open up the rink early. We were all excited, we being the hockey community. We were all excited that we could skate early come August. Right now, the Barry Event Center is taking all of that money that you say is expensive to put a rink in and to keep the compressors on. If you have it, people will come. That old adage, build it and they will come. We have it, it's built. Put the rink in. And I understand budget process where September 1 is your start of the new fiscal year. And now this is August and we don't have enough money to put in the rink. Put in enough money in this budget, please, for next year's August. put in enough money for next year's July. So when people come up for the 4th of July, there can be a cool, and I mean that, a cool rink to go and walk around in, to go see our things. We're going to have a presentation about arts and culture, or Art Commission. We've got a history behind Lakeview Arena, and it's older than me, and I'm 52 years old. So let's keep it going, and you're the only ones who can do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kathy Ruprecht, 412 Taylor Road, Gwynn, out in Sands Township. I came today to thank the city for working so collaboratively with Lake Superior Watershed to develop and repair those stairs out at the Presque Isle Park. Nice job. I also want to thank TV6 for having come and provided coverage, and for Karen, city manager, for having taken the time to walk around the island and look at the stairs and help to pick up trash. It was really fun. And also, lastly, I'd like to thank those who spoke on TV6 to invite community members to step forward when they see things within the community that they feel could be brought to the attention of our local government officials. And so I'm here today to do just that. My project is disaster preparedness for pets in the UP and within the state of Michigan. And I wanted to invite you to an event that we're hosting up at UPAWS in August. And this is a course that Michigan State Extension is bringing to our area for us. They will be presenting a tabletop exercise so we can see what we have in place should a disaster happen and residents need to evacuate. They need to bring their pets, and there needs to be a way to help residents with sheltering those pets, providing a safe space for them and providing them with their needs. And so this event will be held for emergency managers. I'm hoping that local and statewide area humane people will come, as well as area Red Cross representatives and animal control in areas that we have that, as well as our law enforcement individuals, to see what is really needed to provide such care. So I have the QR code so you can all register. Can I leave it with someone? Thank you.
Do we have anyone else for public comment? Anyone else for public comment tonight? Okay, with that, I will close the public comment. Up next, we have a presentation from the Marquette Public Art Commission by Brianna Hobbins.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Good. Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Brianna Hobbins, and as the chair of the Marquette Public Art Commission, I'm honored to present to you our annual year in review tonight. There we go. Thank you for your time as I share what we have helped accomplish this year and what we are currently working on and the future projects. I'm just going to hold this in my hand, I think. So MPAC is in its 8th year of aiming to make art accessible, educate, and inspire community members of Marquette and its visitors. We are dedicated to preserving the works in our collection and enhancing cultural heritage and diversity. We are currently a commission of 5 members who are passionate about art and the community we serve. This past fiscal year, we have accomplished the first phase of the 7 Grandfather Teachings Monument, Dragonfly Sculpture. The oscillation was also installed. The second issue of our educational newsletter went out, and we also hosted a professional artist talk and workshop, participated in Art Week, and were involved in the creation of the cultural trail story markers. Phase 1 of Jason Quigno's 7 Grandfather Teachings Monument was installed September 6, 2024. The unveiling included a cultural trail bus tour with KBIC Council members, a drum ceremony, and a related laser light show, which was cast onto the Yordock. An informational video interviewing Jason was created in December, which, if time allows at the end, I would love the opportunity to share with you. And then recently, on June 19th, an informative temporary sign was placed down at the site, which will be replaced eventually with a permanent sign. In late November, Class Connections Issue 2 was sent out to local schools and educational institutions in Marquette County. The issue highlighted the 7 grandfathered sculpture, elfin skimmer, and the oscillation installation. There were connections to visual language, culture, science, access, and wellness, which is shown on the current slide. It might look a little tiny, and you should have a copy in front of you, commissioners, if you wanted to take a look. The dragonfly, titled Elfin Skimmer, was created by Brian Wignall and was installed in late September of 2024. We had a great opportunity to work with Brian to provide a professional development workshop and talk. It was called How to Thrive as a Professional Artist and took place on September 21st at NMU's School of Art and Design. The talk included guidance on artwork proposals, artist statements, public art creation, and business marketing. Workshops like this help local artists build the skills needed to take on public projects locally and beyond. It prepares them to be aware of and meet common barriers such as insurance, safety standards, access to materials, and working with different teams. Public art requires more than being a great artist or inventor. It requires writing competitive applications, managing budgets and timelines, understanding materials, working with fabricators, and meeting safety and insurance requirements. Investing in this type of training can give local artists access to more work and opportunities to participate in the growth in our public art collection here in Marquette. The temporary interactive art installation Oscillation participated in Marquette's Winter Light Festival and was installed December 10th through January 5th at the Marquette Commons. Support for the installation came from Travel Marquette, Marquette DDA, and grant funding from Michigan Arts and Culture Council. The fire dance group, Lucid Fire Collective, performed a time-based public art performance at the related Bright Beginnings event on January 4th. MPAC aided in a post-oscillation feedback report after. Most recently, Art Week took place, and we hosted a collaborative pop-up display at Marquette Commons on Wednesday and again at Lower Harbor on Saturday. It was based on weaving and just getting the community together and interacting with art. And so there is potential for continued use of the community weave pop-up for future events, providing community engagement and visibility. We also have recently approved Sherry Loonsfoot Aldred and Ayanna Aldred for both temporary rotating and permanent installations, illustrations and paintings to be used on the cultural trail story markers, and to have all work entered into Marquette's public art collection. Story markers for permanent art and placeholders for rotating designs have been installed at 8 of the sites along the trail so far. For projects and ongoing objectives, we have the upcoming future phase 2 of the 7 Grandfather Teachings Monument that will come to fruition soon. The use of the forecast grant, which you may or may not know about yet, will continue to take place, and a 3rd issue of the annual education newsletter will be distributed. We are in the process and continuation of various maintenance and administrative needs as well. So funding has been secured for the Ishko Day sculpture honoring the 3 Fires Confederacy. It is to complete the 7 Grandfather Teachings Monument by Jason Quigno, and this is to be installed at the center of the current installation, which will replace the current round bench that's there next fall of 2026. The Forecast Public Art Midwest Memory Grant, which is supported by the Mellon Foundation, overall supports rural Midwest communities in creating, recontextualizing, and preserving monuments and memorials that honor important untold local histories and stories. The city and KBIC are the recipients of this wonderful opportunity. As this grant project strives to honor important untold local histories and stories through monuments and memorials, it fully funds the Ishko Day Monument. We will also look to their team of national experts to guide us through monument project planning, development of a monument and memorial policy for the city, and capacity building. The technical assistance provided will also aid in developing toolkits. Issue 3 of Classroom Connections is coming this fall, just in time for teachers to use for their lesson plans at the end of the semester there. A maintenance schedule is being created to efficiently preserve and maintain works within the public art collection. Preservation, maintenance of the Father Marquette statue will take place later this summer, early fall, and Leon Lungmark's seascape painting will be delivered in August. We have renewed and plan on continuing to renew annual membership to the Midwest Art Conservation Center to make sure we can continue to maintain the different artworks that are in our collection or will come up in our collection in the future. Additionally, we are in the process of gaining access to SharePoint for better file management. Ongoing efforts continue for commissioner recruitment. We currently have 2 spots open and are looking for art professionals to join us. So if you know anyone, send them our way. Examples of these art professionals per the public art policy are performing artist, architect, landscape architect, curator, artist, writer, artist administrator, or individual with a college level degree in an art field. MPAC has also provided consultations to various individuals, local businesses, and city departments over the years. We encourage this type of collaboration and welcome individuals to come to us with their questions and search for guidance on their different projects within the city. Our future plans currently are, as you see, are listed here. One of which you'll see an example of an influence for a proposed ceiling installation, enhancing capital improvement for the new cultural trailhead on the current slide. This is one way we are providing support and consultation on the new space for Arts and Culture Department. We will be providing public art advisement for Kids Cove Playground. Additionally, a fully funded donated monument representing the Constitution and Declaration of Independence is in the process of being created and will enter the Marquette Public Art Collection. Lastly, there is more to come with the Cultural Trail story markers. 5 of the Cultural Trail story markers have an additional purpose. These 5 will serve as rotating art gallery. Sherry Loonsfoot Aldred and Ayanna Aldred have been commissioned as the gallery's first artists. The artwork will be displayed for 3 years. These first works, both digital and print, have been accepted into the Marquette Public Art Collection. And to conclude, on behalf of the Public Art Commission, I would truly like to thank you all for your continued support, commissioners and residents of the city. You have provided us the opportunity to give back to our community in a unique and special way that we hold dear to our hearts. We look forward to continuing providing the city of Marquette through public art and are excited for the future. If there's time, I would love to show the video, but if there's not time, I encourage everybody to go to the...
I think you can show it.
Okay, awesome. I'm really excited. I hope you enjoy. Trying to connect to YouTube. Allow.
Bonjour, Nish Makade, Makwa and Dishnakaz, Gnu and Dishnakaz, Makwa and Dodam. Before we speak, we say our name. We're talking to our ancestors in creation. When I speak out my name in my original language, they're listening. My name is Jason Quigno. I'm a Anishinaabe sculptor. I'm from the Saginaw Chippewa tribe. My ma had moved to Keweenaw Bay, Lance and Baraga. I remember we used to go skating over there in Marquette, all us Indian kids, on a big old junky bus. We'd bus over there. So I have a lot of memories and a lot of connection up there. Art is very essential to society because it shows the values. It shows the culture of a certain place. You look at the ancient history, you see the Egyptians or the Greeks. From them, we can glean what they were about, you know, what their values were. And art is very important to, you know, a place, a civilization. Working in stone, especially these hard stones, very physically demanding, physically and mentally. So when you see a stone go from the beginning, from a raw stone, and then you see what it is at the end, it's amazing. It's still amazing to me. Like, wow, I can't believe I did that. The seven grandfathers, their teachings from the Anishinaabe, and the Anishinaabe were the original Ojibwe people up there. First, there's love, respect, honesty, bravery, truth, humility, and wisdom. These are ancient teachings that was been here for thousands of years. They've been passed down orally. I was taught with my work, and a lot of Anishinaabe, when they do work, whether it be beadwork or making regalia, as they say, you put like that good feeling into it, like that good positive emotion. And it's the same with these stones. I want people to feel something from them, you know? I want people to feel a sense of harmony or whatever they get from the stone. There'll be 7 stones there, and each one of those represents those values, you know? So they'll be able to go sit down there. And not only will these stones represent the 7 grandfathers, but they also give off a sense of peace and harmony. You know, it'll also be a sense of pride for the tribes up there. There's no monuments for the Anishinaabe. You know, they're coming now, so it honors them. These will be here for thousands of years, long after we're gone, and made by Anishinaabe to represent the Anishinaabe and some of our values. It's just an honor to be able to do these sculptures for the city of Marquette.
Thank you for your time today. Are there any questions?
Commissioners? Commissioner Ottaway? Yeah.
Bree, thanks a bunch for that. I mean, seeing all that you guys do, it just kind of, you know, puts back into perspective what we're all here for. I think we are very lucky to have the art community we have in the city of Marquette. It's a draw, yes, for people outside the community, but it's certainly a draw for people that live here too. You know, I every day think of how thankful I am just seeing what I get to see every day and just how things have transformed. So, you know, just know that people that live in the city of Marquette really care about what you do, even more than the tourists. So thank you for all the work you guys put in.
Thank you.
You know, when the Public Art Commission decides to do a presentation, it always kind of overtops everything else. And I can see why you were excited about showing that video. That's a wonderful video. And there's something about Jason's work and where it's placed on our waterfront that really, I don't know, does something for me. And I hope it does for other people in the community. So I'm really glad that you showed that video.
Oh, good.
And I'm really glad it was made.
Good. Thank you. Me too.
Brianna, thank you. Tina, thank you for all your efforts as well. I can't believe you have 2 spots open. What the heck happened there on that committee? Somebody fill them up, because it's been gangbusters to see what has been coming from those beautiful minds into the city of Marquette the last few years, especially. I was going to save it for commissioner comments, but the cultural trail is just really something special. And the markers that they've got and the stories that those markers tell is just amazing. I mean, the work that city staff did to prepare the sites, the markers themselves, everything that's involved, they tell a story. And I mentioned this, I think, at some point in time, either in a meeting here or in talking with others. But when I was on Prescott Advisory back in the early 2000s, we tried to come up with a traveling, like a signage trail through the city of Marquette. And we couldn't agree on things, and it just wasn't going to happen. And I know that it's not, the first time that it had come up and was a topic of interest, because we want the walkability and the story to be told along our lakeshore. And you guys did it, and not just do it. You didn't just do it. You knocked it out of the park. And I think that it's so cool to have the time that I've had, and not in just service, but watching this morph into what it is. I think, Commissioner Ottaway said it. It's one of those things where you don't realize how dynamic these pieces of art are and what they truly mean to our heritage and our background. So this has been such an honor to be a part of as a commissioner, but also as a community member. So thank you again.
Agreed. Thank you. And thank you to Tina. She's put, all the work into that. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a good evening.
Okay, this brings us to our consent agenda. Commissioners, do we have a motion on consent? Pro Tem Schlegel?
I would make the motion to accept the consent agenda as, I can just say as presented, right? Because it's been amended, or do I need to say as amended? As amended? Okay, as amended. Thank you.
Do I have a second? Commissioner Mayor? Oh,
I will second that.
Bo doesn't want to leave. Any discussion on consent? All in favor, please say yes.
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 All opposed, please say no. Motion passes 6-0. This brings us to our new business item of the evening, the former hospital redevelopment site traffic study contract approval. City Clerk, could you please read the background?
Thank you, Mayor. The former Marquette Hospital demolition project was recently completed, and planning for redevelopment of this area is in progress. In order to ensure that city infrastructure and roadway improvements best align with the redevelopment, it has been determined that an in-depth traffic study is needed. The city obtained a quote from DLZ of Michigan to do this work. DLZ has previously completed a number of projects for the city, which included a citywide traffic study, a traffic study of the new hospital site and surroundings, the Lundin Mine Corridor evaluation, and peer reviews of the city roundabout projects along Wright Street and Presque Isle Avenue. Staff has recommended that we continue to use the same traffic engineering consultant due to their past experience with the city, access to previous work, and the quality of work that has been completed. The Marquette Brownfield Redevelopment Authority approved this project for an allocation from the revolving loan fund at their June meeting. Fiscal effect: none. The expense for this project will be fully reimbursed by the Marquette Brownfield Redevelopment Authority revolving loan fund. Recommendation: approve the contract with DLZ Michigan, Inc. at a cost not to exceed $42,000 for the work shown in the attached proposal, authorize the city manager to waive competitive bidding requirements, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the contract. Alternatives as determined by the commission.
Commissioners, do we have a motion? Commissioner Davis?
I move that we approve a contract with DLZ Michigan Incorporated at a cost not to exceed $42,000 for the work shown in the attached proposal, authorize the city manager to waive competitive building requirements, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the contract.
Do we have a second? Commissioner Larson?
A second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I have. First of all, I'm really glad that we're doing a traffic study in that area because there's been so much change that we're not really sure what's going to happen. As I read the proposal, I noticed that as they talked about the existing traffic volumes, that the study that they will use, the study was done in 2017, but the data that they're going to use is 2013. And there's been so much that has happened since then, and so much will happen in the next several years. And then there was a comment in there, well, maybe we could redo it in the fall. And it seems like it would make sense since Northern will be back within a month that we do redo that traffic study when Northern comes back. And so I just don't know who might want to comment on that from the city.
I'm looking at Deputy City Manager at all to see if he had any knowledge of that, because there was a timing with that.
Restate your question for me.
As I read the proposal, they talked about the existing traffic volumes. In the study that they're going to use, the data is from 2013. And then there was a comment about, well, they can't do it this summer because Northern isn't there. But Northern will be returning in about a month. And, I don't know if would be an additional cost if they did that full study and they don't rely on the data from 2013.
I believe we're looking at collecting the data when Northern's back in session.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
not
no,
what the proposal said, but I'd like that idea.
Okay, yeah, no, I'd have to look at that closer. I'm sorry, but I think that we're looking at a fall study.
Okay,
That was
if
my
we can,
that was
I
my
think that would
understanding
make
from the city
sense.
engineer.
Okay, so I'm wondering if Pequot Street, because we've had some discussions about Pequot Street was not included in that, and because there's been some comments about the housing development, that maybe Pequot Street needs to be involved, I don't know, but just something for consideration, you don't even need to reply. The other thing that I noticed is that the traffic study will only talk about cars and trucks and those kind of vehicles, but with all of our micro transportation and our concerns over what's happening, especially in an area where there's a lot of college students, wouldn't it make sense to include all kinds of transportation in this study, whether it's walking or biking or one wheels or whatever?
I think the type of study they do is really focused on the cars. That's my understanding, is like the devices they're using to detect the cars. This is an area we received a lot of comments about during our active transportation planning. So I think we'll have a recommendation for it out of that plan. But I can't speak to the mechanics. I apologize.
I suppose it's too late to change that proposal, but it just, the transportation that will be there won't just be cars and trucks. There'll be-
I also think that's part of a larger plan, and looking at just that area when we're talking about the additional forms of transportation may not be as robust or as accurate as if you were looking at the entire city and the active transportation or micromobility across the entire city. But I do believe that there are points in here that are looked at for traffic calming measures, or how we implement traffic calming measures due to the traffic that is going to be here in this area, depending on the development. So I think that there's still room for that, but I don't know if in the traffic study, the type of traffic study that is being done here covers that kind of thing, because it needs to be more than just that area, if that makes sense.
That was my other comment, is I hope, we've got the bike study that's going on, and we've got the new task force that's happening, and now we have this traffic study, and I'm hoping that we're not looking at silos of information, but that they're all working together.
I think when you're looking at how people get from point A to point B, bicycles and micromobility devices are going to act largely the same way as cars. People are trying to get somewhere. They're going to use the easiest, most direct route. For pedestrians, everything's going to have a sidewalk. But when you're talking about on-street infrastructure, having an idea of how traffic is moving through the area, even if you're just limiting it to cars and trucks, is going to give us the information we need to proceed. We can overlay, additional infrastructure on the road for other types of traffic, which is the, planning we're engaging with in the other plan. But this is going to give us an idea of the general behavior. And I think that's broadly applicable to, whether or not someone's in a car, on an e-bike, one-wheeling around.
Well, I guess I just wanted to bring it up because when we have the opportunity to consider all forms of transportation in a new design, I really think we should be looking at it.
Great.
I'll bring that up to the
Okay,
city
thank
engineer.
you.
That's really good input.
Only that I support this, I think it's needed, and I think, going with the existing consultant makes sense.
To address Commissioner Davis's comment, I would think that one thing that we might be able to look at is when the site plans are being done through the planning process, that some of those issues that you're concerned about are going to be addressed. Hopefully, you would think, right? Sidewalks, things like that, how things might be labeled. But I think that if we give staff a good idea that, hey, when you guys go through the planning process, here's our big concerns for that neck of the woods. Traffic, obviously, yeah, I think it's, we need to have this study done. But until we find out how that it's going to be completely reused, that may be when we can really incorporate some of those new, new areas of transportation or new modes. So I think that there's a little bit of saving grace that hopefully in there, right, we can give direction. But great observation.
Anyone else? Okay, with that, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor, please say yes.
Yes?
All opposed, please say no. Motion passes 6-0. This brings us to our last public comment of the evening. Public comment may not exceed 3 minutes per person. Please state your name and physical address if you have not already done so at this meeting. Do we have anyone for public comment?
I wanted to talk about that old former hospital site. A couple years back, I applied for a job that part of the application process was to give your feedback of what do you think should happen next. My answer was, I think NMU, and I think the city at some point needs to assist with this, could be benefited by having parking lots elsewhere throughout the city and having a commuter bus type terminal at the old hospital site was one of my suggestions. So I would bring it back up. I would like to see a place that allows residents to be tourists in our own town. And what I mean is there's a point when sitting on a bus and going down 3rd Street allows you to wander, allows you to think about, hey, I haven't seen that store. Oh, I haven't gone into that restaurant. That kind of an idea that you don't have to park in front of the building that you're going to go and operate in. I would like to see us promote that. This is a big open field. They've got 2 big open fields on either side of a road. It allows for access to Northern. That could be, I brought my bike in my back of my car, I got my skateboard, I got my little Razor scooter, I'm going to park in this spot and ride through campus instead of being a freshman and parking way down on Lincoln Street and having something going on over at either the Dome or Jacob Betty. You tend to drive. We all tend to drive. We're from Michigan. I will admit I love driving my car. But I also want to sit there and think, how do I get to other parts of my town? I haven't been down Washington Street in a very long time, partly because I got to figure out where I pay to park. I got to figure out what spot I'm in to pay for some parking, and I can't use my quarters to just drop in a bucket now. I have to actually use a credit card and remember my license plate. All of that's complicated, and I don't know how it's profitable. Anyways, what I'd like to see is the city take these thoughts into consideration because you're starting something new there. It's not from 2013. It's not even from 2018 anymore. The fact that you ripped out all those streets or buildings, we've adjusted our pattern. There's half the time I go to work. I live and work on Fair Ave. Half the time I have to go down to Wright Street. The other half I go up to Magnetic. Is that going to be reflected that half my driving is actually avoiding the one thing you're going to do a survey on? So again, I say all these things out loud, and I'm sorry it's taken so long, but I do want to say I've witnessed you folks, the city and the state governments and the feds, listening to comments like this. So thank you for the extra beach down on Washington, or lakeshore, and thank you for leaving the pillars on the lakeshore. Thanks.
You know, I wasn't going to do this, but this is a good opportunity to just introduce myself to everyone. I know I had the chance to meet the mayor and I believe the city manager at the time capsule interment that took place last week.
Sir, can you please
Oh,
state your name and physical
Yep,
address?
Caleb Gordon, 321 Jackson Street, City of Marquette. New resident to Marquette, so I just wanted to say hi to everyone. I work with the Radio Results Network. I do a lot of things for them, but one of them is going to be covering more closely things going on here in and around the City of Marquette area. So I just want to say hi again, Caleb Gordon, Radio Results Network, and I look forward to getting to know each of you a little bit more personally over the course of the next years or so. But don't be surprised to see me at an event or stick a phone in your face or record something that you say. So just so you're aware. But I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? All right, seeing none, public comment is now closed. This brings us to comments from the commission. I will start tonight with Commissioner Larson.
No comments tonight.
Pro Tem Schlegel.
Thank you. Just my usual spiel. Tourism season is here, and please be aware of the people that are not being aware. There's a lot of wandering eyes because we have such a beautiful community to drive through. So please be aware of what's going on with all the foot traffic, bike traffic, car traffic, you name it. I'm glad that we had a chance to talk with the people from arts and culture, and that I did that before they took off. But again, I would encourage you to go ahead and experience that cultural trail. The only other thing I have is a reminder that this weekend is the David Boyd Celebration of Life at Peter White Library, 2 to 3:30 p.m. At the community room. We spoke about David last meeting and had a nice proclamation. I just wanted to bring that up. Unfortunately, I will not be in town this week or during this and through next week, but respectfully, I hope that people go and celebrate David. Thank you much. That's all I have.
Commissioner Mayer.
All good tonight.
Commissioner Ottaway.
Yeah, real quick, huge thank you to the police department and all volunteers on the 4th. It was awesome to see the police presence via bike. Very safe and very just last couple of years, seeing that modern transition of more police officers on bikes, especially patrolling, having a good community outlook. It's just great. All of the 4th of July events that we had were phenomenal. I think they went off mostly without some issues. Obviously, the fireworks had some issues, but ended up making a great comeback. So thank you to all those people that put that on. And I will just say, one of the things that has been alarming to me more recently, and do what you want with this comment, but ultimately, if you are a person on Facebook and your first response is to attack anything that is being done by volunteers, such as fireworks, and ultimately placing blame on places you have no business placing blame, maybe you need to look at yourself in the mirror. No more comment.
Commissioner Davis.
I just want to support something that Mr. Lutenberger brought up, and that is that I had company this last 2 weeks from Italy. One was an 11-year-old and one was a 7-year-old, both who play roller hockey over in Italy because there's no ice. One of the things that they were excited about coming to Marquette for was to try hockey on ice. And at the top of their list was visiting the Barrie Center and Lakeview Arena. And they were so disappointed that they couldn't skate. I think that he's right. I think that we've got a lot of summer visitors who would really enjoy the ability to skate during the summer.
Thank you. I don't have too much tonight. I just know that I want to remind everyone to stay safe. We should have the influx of visitors for the Hiawatha Music Festival that we have in town this weekend. It's always such a great event and it's put on by a very great organization, so that should be wonderful. And before our next meeting, we will have Blueberry Fest on the Friday before our next meeting. So make sure that if you get a chance to get out there, I believe it's the 25th this year. It's from 10 to 7. It is a wonderful, I think it's my favorite downtown event that we do. So I suggest that everyone get out there and do that. Other than that, that leads us to comments from our city manager.
Certainly. I just wanted to recognize the employees that were working on a very busy 4th of July. That's police department, fire department, our public works department, and then our water filtration plant and wastewater treatment plant, working on those holidays where we're all out on the beach, and they are working tirelessly. So, so much appreciation for those departments that work nonstop. And then I also really wanted to extend a thank you and recognize the Marquette Brownfield Redevelopment Authority because the funding that is made possible to conduct this traffic study, a very much needed traffic study in this area, and would have been a little bit more challenging to find the funding for. And so using the Brownfield Authority funding that is available is really a great opportunity to put that into the future of a development and make it easier to understand and support some of the improvements that will need to be done. So, and that's all. Thank you.
With that, we are adjourned at 6:45.